Yeah, that's
okay.
Okay, now we're live, but now it's doing the countdown. Okay, so
now everybody gets 2 minutes of us talking.
Yeah, well, we didn't mess it up that bad.
No, this is a weekly thing. They can get used to it.
Like, oh, that was my phone. I'm sorry.
That's one
I got an
demerit.
ad. I was like watching this live stream that I think is going to be really good this evening, and it went live.
All right,
featuring a couple of buddies.
Hey, if they're not tuning in for a beautiful mess, I don't know.
I mean, what's the fucking point in listening if they're not up for that? I've got to comment on the swearing. I had a coffee late in the day today.
Oh, I think, yeah. Wait till we're at least 90 seconds in before we drop that bomb.
Yeah.
Or we get demonetized, and what's the point?
It's so funny. I mean, why not? I want to get demonetized, though. That would be really lame.
Sammy, are you playing music? Did you figure out some music?
Yeah.
That's so sick. Thank you. That's so cool.
I love it.
This is the lo-fi option.
This is a vibe.
There's also an option of feeding the ducks. What could that be?
Oh, all right. Yeah, feed the ducks.
I don't know what ducks these are. I used to get attacked by ducks in my hometown.
That's one of the song options, I think. Here we go. So.
What's up? Boy, that tickles me so much.
Hey, you like that applause, huh? Hello, everyone. Wow, we've got so many people tuning in already. This is great. It just keeps getting bigger every week.
I mean, I feel so loved. That's how I feel.
I feel very loved too. I think they're all here to see you. This is the wonderful Smythe Hill.
Smythe. It's okay. You'll get it right eventually. You're really bad with names. I'm not even going to tell the story, but you're terrible with names. I'm going to start calling you Mickey Collins.
Don't tell the story, please, because...
No, I won't.
Yeah.
I was completely taking the piss.
Oh, no. I am as red as beet now. I thought you were going to put me on blast.
No, I would never. We have a sacred friendship. You never talk about like actual personal stuff. I'll talk about the fact that I'll be moving around a lot because my baby keeps being weird and moving me around a lot. But
how are we doing? Where are we with that?
Good. We're at 24 weeks. We're at 24. Oh, wait, we need to introduce Sammy. Everyone, you can't see her, but Sammy is here.
Sammy, the wonderful Sammy.
Yeah, lo-fi music, feeding the ducks.
The magical voice in the background is someone referred to me last week.
That was the best comment we had last week.
I think that's
we got a good show this week. We've got the incredible Dan DeDunking Richards here with us. This is a good buddy of mine. I've hung out with him on multiple occasions, and I always have a blast with Dan. And I'm looking to dig in because you know what else this week has been today actually has been pretty active for Dan. I want to ask him about some of that because there's been a lot of fun stuff going on I still can't not call it Twitter.
Yeah,
but
I feel that. Yeah. I do the same thing.
I so much stuff that I couldn't keep up with all of it. Did you see a lot of that going on today?
I saw a fair bit of it. We'll get into it with Dan, but I was just telling him before we went live, whenever Dan goes off on someone on Twitter, X, great. Whatever you want to call it, I was like, it gets my adrenaline going so good. Like if I was at the gym or if I use the gym ever these days, I could jog to it. Like that's how good it is. And it's just like, we need I don't know, maybe it's just like,
it's like you want to like get online with them. It's like Braveheart and pull up your kilt and then charge to battle.
Exactly.
He gets you fired up because he punches back at these guys. And today was a good one. I really enjoyed what I saw today. I spent about an hour looking at it sporadically. So, all right, let's do our announcements so we can get right into it because I want to hang out with Dan.
Mm-hmm.
What are our announcements? We're doing a giveaway today. So if you didn't see that as everybody knows, we've got the conference coming up in Scottsdale. Big conference, Quest for Ancient Civilizations. And we're giving away 2 tickets tonight to the Super Chat. So if you drop a super chat tonight, you're in. We're gonna pick a winner at the end of the stream tonight, and then we'll just if you get picked, we're gonna get in touch with you. We're gonna send you some tickets to come to Scottsdale Conference December 5th through the 7th. Our guest tonight, Dan, is going to be there speaking. I'll be there speaking. Jimmy, Michael Button, David Hatcher Childress, Gary's going to be running the live stream. If you can't go, you can even tune in on the live stream. Hugh Newman, William Henry, I could name all of them.
AJ from the Waffles.
And it's going to be a lot of fun. We got a really good venue. It's going to be really fun. So 2 tickets being given away. Somebody already jumped in.
We already got a super chat, AJ is not going to be there.
Wait, AJ's not going to be there?
Jose Taco. That's the name.
He is not.
Oh, that sucks.
He pulled out.
Oh, well, I know he's got a lot going on, so I'm going to pray.
There's going to be a replacement, so stay tuned for that.
Yes, we've got some big announcements coming up for that.
Exciting. This is so exciting. So yeah, get your super chats in for your chance to win a ticket. And then at the end, well, no, I guess like just in case people have to jump off, just remember to come back and check the stream tomorrow or whenever it is you get a chance to, because you might win.
Like, you might win.
Here to win, but just make sure you come back because we'll tell you how to like figure out getting in touch and all those good things. So yeah, so thank you everyone. But I'm so jealous I can't be there, guys. But
I know.
Yeah.
We have more coming up next year, so you're gonna have to come to those.
100%.
Yeah, Sedona and Austin, some big events coming too.
It's gonna be
great. Let's get the man, the myth, the legend in here with us and dig into some hot topics.
Hey.
There he is.
Well, thank you. Yeah, the Hot Topics got some killer shirts. You could get stuff.
Are they still open?
No. Oh yeah, I bought stuff for my kid there a while ago.
They're only at malls though, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Which those are still open too, but not for too much longer. We'll just start off completely in left field to hell with the topic at hand. Let's talk about malls.
Yeah, let's talk about modern social decline. We don't have to talk about ancient civilization decline. I don't know. My husband won't let me go to our local mall because people keep getting shot there. So, that's so much fun.
Back in my day, Tiffany got her start in a mall. I mean, it's like a whole lot different.
Very different.
Malls were cool back then. You go back and you'd flirt with girls and go to get food and go shopping and play video games and just hang out. But now, they're just ghost towns and places to buy drugs.
Yeah. Places to do gang activity. Yeah, I remember having to go buy my CDs and my videos at the mall. Oh, isn't it okay? So that's like one of the things I think when it comes to ancient civilizations that really gets on my nerves is like we'll look at some of these ancient sites, like mostly the ones in Turkey, I think, because that's the ones I know like the most about. And sometimes I just look at them and go, probably just a shopping mall, probably just an ancient shopping mall. Have you heard the theory that all the area around the Sphinx in ancient Egypt was actually just a shopping mall for ancient Egyptians, and then like even previous civilizations, they just did like their own. Yeah, I love that one. I'm like, yeah, maybe it is just dumb stuff like that, and we just make it into something bigger. But no, anyway, I'm just saying that also because I want to get clipped and then piss people on Twitter for saying that.
I said made a similar statement at the end of one of my recent videos that. Like I was talking about music and how comparing it to when we see art was the new face at Karan Tepe, the face on the end of the T-pillar. We can look at mystical and high-minded things, but I showed like an image of a Pink Floyd song, or sometimes we get things a little more bass, and then you just WAP. It's like we get there's we look at the writings that we have was another point that I made. We got all these writings from the early days, and one of them is that one that's got memed to death about E.A. Nasser and the copper, right? The guy that sold impure copper, like in the Bronze Age, and this is one of the earliest writings we have, is just a letter to him bitching about going, "Hey man, why you sell me such crappy copper?" It's like,
I love that the oldest writing that we found is a customer complaint.
Yeah, it's great, but that's just exactly that though. It's like it's for for if we're gonna have a lot of people that are like seeing God everywhere, but I said the thing I said, I'll just recycle it here, was that for every one of those, though, you're still going to have somebody who was like, man, I was there the day that got ate by the cave bear, and there was no God on that hill. You're gonna have heard that 10,000, 50,000 years ago. This is not, humans haven't changed in any meaningful way as far as that goes.
Yeah, I feel that. My uncle has this theory that, if there was some massive cataclysm and everything we built over the last like 2,000 years was kind of, for the most part destroyed, we go down to another like sort of 10,000 breeding pairs kind of vibe, and we got to rebuild technologically. All those like archaeologists in the future, and I'm a Christian saying this, I just want to preface this, I don't think this is the case, but my uncle, who is less of a Christian, has this theory that if they found evidence of Christianity, they'd think we were a cannibalistic blood cult, because of like, if you just look at the absolute basics of Christianity, like, like the bread and wine, like the flesh. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to be able to quote it well enough. But he's just like, yeah, they won't get it. They won't get that we were like, now at least the most peaceful religion on the planet, probably. No, we ate people. That's what we did. It was the right thing to do. That's what God wanted. We ate people.
Symbol of a torture stake on your neck, right? I mean, it's like, but I heard somebody, I think it was Sam Harris, said this like 15, 20 years ago. I think it was him that said that it would be, imagine if a bunch of people that love JFK walked around with sniper rifles on their neck. Like, damn, dude, that's savage.
That is... Oh gosh, at least he didn't get shot in the face to absolve us of all of our sins. But yeah, it's like he just created like the longest tangent in conspiracy theories ever. Anyway, let's talk about ancient histories before we turn last week's show into a UFO show. I want to do a conspiracy show one day, but we'll all get canceled and banned from every platform, so I'll probably go like full Alex Jones. Like I'll turn red, screaming. But Dan, I kind of want to like get into some of your posts today on X, but I also want to get into more of like we want to cover like everything there is DeDunking. Actually, you know what? F that. My first question, because I don't actually know the answer to it, even though I'm a big fan. How did you get into this stuff? Like, what is your sort of like, what is your what they call it, like a rosebud? That's like the story of like the origin story.
Yeah, you're getting no Citizen Kane on me over here. Yeah. Well, when I was in 4th grade, my teacher, like my art teacher, had these awards that she would give for a class being good, and one of them was Egypt Day, and you get to make these headdresses out of construction paper and all this stuff, and we learned a lot about Egypt. And I'd grown up in a really Christian home, so I just knew Egypt were the bad guys. And so I was like, this is pretty cool. They got these big pyramids and all this weird spirituality and shit. And so I was into it then. And by the time Fingerprints of the Gods came out, I had quite a few, but like mostly magazines and stuff, because I was a kid without a ton of money. But I'd buy magazines and stuff about Egyptology. And but then by the time Graham Hancock's Fingerprints came out, I had that pre-ordered.
Nice.
And then when I got custody of my son just 10 years ago now, when he got to the age that he was just like quit helicopter parenting dad, I started messing around. I watched Ancient Apocalypse. That I was like, what kind of debunkings are we going to see? I get on YouTube, and there was like, these guys they're just not, they clearly haven't read any of Graham's stuff. They don't really get his position. They're doing this kind of the straw man thing. One person even said in one of their other videos, they're like, hey man, I'm not here to address all of Graham's work. I'm just here to address this one particular video. I'm like, is that how we debunk evolution? We're like, I'm not here to address the body of work. I'm just going to pick at this thing Darwin said. It's like, that's not how we do this, but it works just fine for Graham. I mean, they mock Graham when he changes position, but they're like, oh, science changes his position, and that's how it moves forward. But if Graham does it, it's like, see, he had to change his position. What an idiot is this? So I started making videos and found out that I was kind of the only one doing it as far as that goes.
That's so freaking cool. And I love that all roads in this community lead back to Graham. Like,
yeah, very much.
They really do. Like, what a nice man, A. And B, yeah, I mean, God, you're spot on the scientists and they're just hysteria. I don't know. Like their obsession, like just because you work for an academic institution, you think you know everything, when really you just get mired in your own cyclical line of thinking. And I don't know, my favorite thing that's happening on social media right now, which I think you're helping with actually a lot in terms of like entertainment, but also in terms of just setting the historical record straight, Dan, is when these institutional big archaeology wankers come in and say, oh, well, I know everything and everyone's wrong and you're all a bunch of racists and Nazis, because that's what they always call us. I used to love getting death threats when I wrote for... Do you get death threats, Dan? Do you get death threats yet?
Every now and again, I get somebody who says something vaguely along those lines, but nothing that bad yet, knock on wood.
Okay, well, that's good. Yeah, that is good. I pray that you don't get any...
I like how very nonchalant you are. You're like, sort of sometimes.
No, I mean, it's the internet. You know, we would have been telling people all kinds of horrible things for forever, but the old adage was don't take it into meat space, right? You keep it digital, stupid. But
yeah, you surprised me with some of when we were hanging out up in Montana with some of your stories about how long you've been at it. I mean, some of your trolling stories were just they were...
I had fun.
They were back to AOL chat.
Oh, heck yeah. Oh, wow.
If I did BBSs to a degree back in the day, even which were before the internet, bulletin board services were like with the internet, you get like one big hub and it just takes everything in. Bulletin board services were one computer would talk to and other people would one at a time communicate. So really slow version, but same kind of thing. You'd say horrible things to people, and like the Apple users didn't have a caps lock button, so everything was always caps. So they get called blockheads, right? And so I was like all this old stuff. But yeah, I've been yelling at people since before yelling at people was cool.
Is it funner now or back then?
I think the best part, there was a certain like mystique to it in the early days, because like I was a kid and then you're typing in this black and green computer and it's all humming and it's dark and this is all new. So it was really weird feeling like you were communicating with somebody. You almost felt like you were violating a rule or something. But now it's awesome because you'd always imagine like you'd say something spicy, you'd see somebody, you'd just be like, man, I know that guy sitting over there going, now you get to see it in videos. They make a video like, that son of a bitch. This is pretty sweet.
So what happened today? Are you up to talking about on X? Because great.
You kind of broke the community a bit today. Like, I mean, in a fucking great way. Sorry, I gotta stop swearing. In an absolutely great way. I mean, it was just one of the best things I've seen happen on the internet in a really long time. So yeah, let's get into it.
Well, Lee Clare reposted. For those of you who don't know, Lee Clare is the head archaeologist at Turkey, covering like Göbekli Tepe and Karahan Tepe and Saybak and places like that. Sure, I pronounced all those perfect. But he just for some reason he reposted one of my things today where I was talking about how certain people had complained about the tree, or had not complained about the trees, and then they did complain about the trees. Basically, the guys like David Miano or Flint Dibble who've flip-flopped on the tree situation on Göbekli Tepe because Jimmy Corsetti was the one that brought it up. So of course there's no way he could be right. But then eventually public pressure got them to take the trees down. So rather than admit that Jimmy Corsetti had anything to do with that, they're going to just say it was always going to happen. And so for whatever reason, Lee decided to repost my thing and pick at me, which was kind of like, it seemed very clear that he was just like picking at anybody who said anything about the trees, because I really wasn't targeting him specifically with this.
So he dug it all up today.
Yeah. He's the one that started it.
Even better.
That's why I was like, Lee, I've never really came at you, man. I don't know what the deal is here. And I'm complaining about people. I just kept pressing that one button. All I'm doing is complaining about the people who flip-flopped on this shit, who said one thing, who knee-jerk reacted. This isn't scientific. That's my whole issue. And I wasn't going to segue into anything else. I wasn't going to be brought down any other paths. I'm just going to keep hammering at that so that even if the language barrier is an issue, it will eventually not be. And then I took a nap. And then I came back and it was all like, oh, okay.
Wait, so we just okay. So I feel like we're burying the lead. Was this okay? I'm trying to find the tweet right now and see if I can send it to Sammy while we're here. But
there's Flint kind of outed himself today with his burner account. So that's one thing I noticed, which was lovely to see. So I guess he's been using some burner account for several years anonymously, and he accidentally sent a message to you thinking it was from his primary account.
No, he did this a few days ago. Okay.
Oh, was that a few days ago?
Yeah, but this is this is so bad.
All right, so bad.
So I've got archaeologists that tell me these terrible stories about Flint. They always want to remain anonymous, so I but one of the things that I have been told is that that anyway, I gotta get too terribly into things, but I said something that was pretty bad, but I didn't say it about Flint specifically. I did exactly what he does with us about racism. I made it very if you look at context and use it to determine, you're going to be pretty certain that I was talking about Flint. But then he lost his shit. He's like, retract what you said, blah 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 blah. And I said that I wasn't going to apologize. And so then until he apologized for calling all of us racist. So then he deleted all of his comments that he'd ever made with that account. But the fact is that we have each other blocked, and he used a burner account to reach out to me, which is technically against the terms of service. So he could get in trouble for that.
Yeah. So you're familiar with Past Politics.
I am.
So I love his stuff.
Yeah, he started really hitting on the hammer on that one.
Oh man. And he did a post, which I think Sammy is in the thing. Anyways, he
yeah, sorry, I just got
broke down all the rules that he broke by doing that. It was like 3 or 4 different things that could get his burner account canceled, and then the other one and his main one suspended. That's what I saw.
Oh wow. Yeah, no, I just picked up my son like right before we got on for this stream, and like not long before I got on the stream and stuff. So I didn't dig through all the posts in my timeline yet. So I didn't see that. But I knew that was
Paul.
I knew he took some shots, but I didn't realize he was digging that hard.
Yeah. He messaged me today. He said, "I thought you might like this." I was like, "I do like this." Yum 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 yum.
Yes.
And he breaks it down really good. What I love about Paul is that he breaks everything down so well. I mean, it's so nice having somebody that is, if we're talking sides here, is basically on our side and calling out the archaeological community for their shortcomings, which they are completely unable to do, it would appear. Like there's just no ground to give back and forth. Now, I know, it doesn't seem like a community you can reason with. There is no space for conjecture or free thought around things that they've already established a narrative for. Even if you're which has always blown my mind, because it's like you have an entire community of people that are totally into this stuff. If you guys just made a few tweaks and you weren't such dicks, you guys would have so much more support on everything that you do.
It really is kind of that simple. That's the saddest part, because when I see the behavior, whether we're talking about that Dr. Lee Clare, the guy who runs all the sites, who oversees nothing, but from what I can tell, in the management of Göbekli Tepe and all this stuff. And I don't know. I'm fairly outspoken about Flint, but it's funny because the only places I've ever been asked, like the outlets that have asked me about him, they won't publish what I said because it's all pretty mean. But it like, I don't know, maybe it's just because I went to school and dealt with a lot of professors in that same kind of mindset where it's very belittling. It's very like, oh, you're just learning this now, are you? It's like, no, actually, I'm trying to learn this to a heightened degree and get involved with this in such a way that we can get everyone help. Kind of like you said, Mike, like just expanding the field. But I see, like, what I see from those guys is the attacks. It's like they don't spend time with real people, is basically what I'm trying to say. So they don't understand that attacking us on social media doesn't help them, because a majority of the people who are interested in this stuff see all of the same limitations in the big archaeology side of research that we do, that we dig into. And you can get down, I don't know, I sometimes go down like the conspiracy theory rabbit hole of maybe they're being told not to do the work. There's obviously a vested interest in hiding huge parts of our past. Every major institution that can do that does it. But actually, maybe it is just Occam's razor. Maybe they're just stupid. They don't understand the people that are interested in this stuff. And the reason that they click and attack you, Dan, and attack Jimmy and Graham is because they want to get famous and they think that's how to do it. And they don't realize that it doesn't work. And so every time I see these kinds of attacks, it's like, oh, that's really sad. You're not doing this from any kind of place to progress the field, to get more kids involved, to create the sort of cultural and like scientific revolution that you should be vying for in your field. You're doing it so you can get clicks and likes, but you're never going to get your own TV show because you're so fucking unlikable, and difficult to look at, like really difficult to look at. And then, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I'm going to stop myself because otherwise I'm going to go off on a tangent. It gross me out just as a woman. If anyone wants to know what I'm talking about, go and watch the Joe Rogan debate with this guy and Graham. I don't even want to give him the props because he doesn't deserve any fame. First thing he does is put up statues of like naked people, and I'm like, you're a pervert.
Who did that video or the thread? Oh, is it Sam that did a whole thread of how much Flint over the years talks about dicks? There's a whole thread. Did you see that? It was amazing.
No, but that's hilarious.
So I think Sam did a full breakdown on how much he talks about dicks and gets into it in videos and posts. But anyways, Dan, what are your? I know. I don't even know.
Like Superbad. It's like the opening to Superbad. You guys remember that movie?
Yes. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Oh my lord!
What are your thoughts, Dan, on how much these sites and professions are being controlled by big money, outside entities, these large corporations? The easy one to cite here is Turkey, which is in such, in the middle of all the controversy and has the spotlight on it, with the Doges group coming in and investing making a $20 million investment, I think in 2018, and basically getting access to control and run that site for 20 years. How much of that is at play here with these archaeologists and their professions online, and how they're interacting with people who are genuinely interested in history?
Well, honestly, I think that myself, I don't think it has as much to do with the Doges group or any organization as far as the loose cannons that we have. To me, that's what we have, is a bunch of loose cannons. Like Flint Dibble is off, he's one. Him and the other guys that are doing that, they're the exception and not the rule. And they're costing themselves a lot of money. At the end of the day, they're costing themselves a small fortune, if you think about it. I mean, Flint, I don't know if you saw the video that he did that was like some award ceremony or some such crap. He was on, I saw it on Facebook, and it was like 3 minutes of him talking about how pseudo-archaeology is ruining the world and all this type of crap. And hey, Rue. But the the stuff that he was saying was like he knows Atlantis is the number one thing that people that are interested, the public is into as far as archaeology goes. So that's the number one thing that people are interested in. We saw how Carl Sagan used that exact thing with aliens and UFOs and all that stuff to educate the public en masse about astronomy and all that, just astronomy to a major degree, but a lot of it did dabble into, he made sure and touched humanity, right? He wasn't just a hard scientist and yelling about everything. I think a lot of these guys, we would have never seen them 20 years ago. The Doges group wouldn't have let him out of the bag. I think companies, seriously, they don't want that guy out there talking for him. It's a very basic psychological fact that if you already are looking into something and the person that comes at you and tells you it's bad is detached or aloof or elitist or just an asshole, look at how the war on drugs went. Right? You don't tell somebody, you don't have the Nancy Reagan telling people just say no without ended up next generation with guys like me laying around. That's just how that works.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't think you can say what you're doing is like just laying around. That's another thing that I love to see on X is when everyone's like, oh, everyone I know who's a stoner doesn't do anything correctly. I was like, everyone I know who's a stoner is like the best in their field at what they do, but okay. So, okay, you mentioned the Atlantis thing. I think I kind of want to pivot a little bit now.
Oh, look at that. Sedona Connections back in the chat.
Heck yeah. Sedona Connections. It's one of our favorites. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that Atlantis was one of the most written about things.
Me neither.
Yeah, I'm gonna look into that. That's fascinating. But okay, I guess I kind of want to get more now, like pivot, move away from the conspiracies. Let's stop giving these dweeby little men the attention that they so desperately crave. They should have gotten it from their mothers, not us. So
it's illegal in most states, but okay.
No, we're not going to go off on a tangent about Oedipus complexes, whatever. But let's kind of get into, like the topics today, like the hidden history. I almost want to jump into more, just for my own edification, the European copper mining in America, because I don't know a whole lot about this. I know I wrote about it once for the Daily Caller, but I can't remember what I wrote. It was many moons ago.
This is a fascinating topic. And you know what? Who just jumped up? And it's funny that you bring that up because Jeff, thank you so much for becoming a new member. Jeff lives up in the UP, and he was kind enough to invite me up there. And I went up there after our Peru tour, I think a year ago, and he showed me around up there. And we checked out the Keweenaw Wall, and he showed me some mounds and stuff. But since then, he started his own channel and has been digging into this. We have somebody else in chat, Ricardo, who has been doing tons of work on that as well.
Nice. Gotta get them on the show. Gotta get you guys all on the show to talk about it as well.
Yeah. And this is one of those things that's really fascinating to me. So maybe you can start with just kind of laying out what the basic theory here is with the copper mining in the Great Lakes area and what it has to do with Europe. So if anybody is unfamiliar with this, they're up to speed, and then we can dig into some of the details.
Okay. Well, the Great Lakes copper region, or Great Lakes copper culture, I guess I should say, that it was the oldest known metalworking on the planet. It was about 9,000 years ago was when it first started. And the reason they were able to do it, they did it without smelting. They didn't need extremely high temperatures because there was copper that would have formed there naturally in massive deposits. Sometimes it's like as big as an automobile, like several tons of copper in one place. And we know that because there's a couple of those big blocks like that at the bottom. I think Lake Erie, I think it is. And the natives at one point were excavating, like digging for it. They would use pounding stones and whatnot and bust up the rock, but they would get such big chunks of copper that there's in the record that we found like a 3-foot long sword, basically. And you got to remember, they can't they couldn't melt two pieces together. They had no means to smelt it. So this was all hammered out of one natural piece of 95% pure copper. They were just chipping pieces off. So by the time the honkies all show up on this continent, most of the copper had long been mined out. They had been like 3,000, 4,000 years, I think, since they were doing that. And since they couldn't smelt, the items kept getting smaller. They still had a lot of sewing needles and fish hooks and a lot of ornamentation. If you had a copper dagger at that point, you were either rich or a thief. And then the way that attaches to Europe is that there was said to be so much copper that came out of these mines that by some estimations, there should be a whole lot more of it laying around. And that is debated back and forth. I mean, there's problems both ways. The guesses here are really wide. Let's to begin with. Again, like one chunk of copper, one deposit could be several tons. So and there's a lot of it. If you walk in that region and just walk around on the ground, North O2 recently did a video about it, and you just walk around the ground in that area and you find the ancient copper artifacts just laying there, and pieces of copper that are still little nuggets that big, just laying there on the ground. It's all over the place. But by the estimations that a lot more came out of it than what we can account for, many believe that copper was used by cultures in the old world to basically kickstart the Bronze Age.
Did I pull up a relevant thing for this?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go as simple as I can with this and correct me where I'm wrong. Also, as soon as you started talking, Dan, my baby started kicking like crazy. They can hear now in the womb. So it's kind of cool. Thank you for that. But it's also like, oh my gosh, weird.
The beatbox right now is like way up there.
Okay, so like we're talking like 9,000. So you said 9,000 years ago. That's when these sort of the stuff was being like quarried out or like pulled out. So that would suggest that people came from Europe, came and hung out for a little bit. We're like, you'll have got some like really interesting tools here. We're gonna take as much as we can, and then we're gonna bugger off back home and just leave you guys here, which would upset the narrative. Is that kind of where we're getting at here, potentially?
Well, to be clear, the copper culture is accepted by science. The connection between the old world and the copper culture in the new world is not accepted by science. That's a alternate theory. But I just want to make sure everybody gets that. But then, yes, the idea is that there was a trade network set up, and they were basically coming and swapping goods for these copper items or for large amounts of copper. It's what I understand anyway. It's I mean, this when you get into alternate theories, this is where it gets much hairier because the academics all argue with each other until they all agree on one thing, so they can look like they really. It's like mom and dad, they make sure they come at you with a unified front, even though they both disagree on what's really going on. But with us, we're a herd of cats. So some people believe that there was subjugation. Some people are just racist about it and don't think the natives could have figured out how to touch metal without a honky showing them how. And then other people are they're kind of realistic about it, and then other people in me are like, they cite like the Vikings coming over and stuff, and there's no reason to assume that the Vikings or the Polynesians are the only people to have done this.
Yeah.
Yes. What's the most prevalent theory about who was coming over here doing the mining?
Phoenicians, I believe.
Phoenicians, right?
Phoenicians, yeah.
So Jeff actually found the possible Phoenician, like the boat hieroglyph that's up in the UP. Are you familiar with that?
No, I'm not.
So there's I think a debate, and Jeff can clear me up in the comments. We're going to have Jeff on eventually because we want to dig into this, and also Ricardo, possibly in the next year after we do the conference and everything. And but Jeff went up there and found there's supposed to be a depiction of a boat on a rock up there somewhere and he found it. And so he's actually posted about that on Twitter. But you know, the stylized, the Phoenician boat.
Oh, I think I have seen that actually. Yeah, I think I've seen that image. Yeah, that's cool.
So and the other kind of piece to this, I believe, and some of this is, I'm not as probably well versed in some of this, but some of this is like there's more copper that exists in Europe than could have been mined over there. So it had to have come from somewhere else. Am I correct in that?
That's that is one of the that's one of the places where there's a disagreement, because the estimations on how much copper they got out of the dirt, it could be very difficult, where you don't even, how big was the deposit, how pure was the deposit. These really this is a lot of the Bayesian mathematics and bullshit, right, where they're just kind of like throwing darts and hoping that they're getting close to the bullseye. These are the things where I'm a lot more skeptical about than I am more harder aspects of science. But there is definitely a case to be made for there being not enough. The copper estimates for the copper mines in the United States are way, way higher than all the copper mines in the old world put together, from what I understand. And that does make sense. Again, the stuff was so pure, they were making 3-foot swords out of, chunks of copper. They didn't have to melt two together. So,
and we have there's a higher purity rate in the copper in America than in Europe as well.
Yes. It's pure enough they don't have to smelt it. It's just,
that's amazing.
It comes out ready to rock.
That's incredible. I kind of want to like dig into this because when I was growing up, we're learning about ancient British history, particularly around Wales, because we sort of have this running joke that everyone throughout history who's invaded England has gotten to keep it, whereas like Wales and Scotland, we've just kind of like maintained our thing. You assimilate or we eat you. That's kind of like our vibe. But
you guys were Christians before Christians.
Actually, it was a Welsh guy who brought Christianity back from after he was kidnapped by the Romans because they couldn't kill him. So they kidnapped him, brought him back to Rome as a prisoner, taught him about Christianity, and then they were like, he's such a nice guy, we should just like let him go home and tell people about this stuff. And that's exactly what he did. Nice chap. But no, like, not to digress too far, because this is kind of insane, and I really now want to go and spend the rest of the night sort of like digging into the research on this, especially if the purity is that much higher in America. That's a pretty easy thing to look at in artifacts from Europe. Like, there should be a certain amount of like testing one can do to find that kind of correlation. Like, is this American or is this European? The only thing about Europe is it's a lot smaller than people realize. Like, obviously the map that we all know is not actually the map. That's not what the planet really follows. And that's not a conspiracy theory. Like the way, like, Britain is massive on the map and it's like half the size of California, like it's a much smaller land space than say all of North America.
I was over there a couple weeks ago and I was hanging out with you and he's like, so what are you going to do today? I was like, I think I'm driving up to Hadrian's Wall. I was in Avebury. He's like, what? He's like, that's so far away. I'm like, it's like,
nothing in England is far away.
I'm like, it's only 5 hours away. I live in Texas. I have to drive like 8 hours just to get out of my state.
Yeah. It's insane. No, that's like one of the few good things. I mean, I grew up in Europe in like the golden era of it, but like I remember the last time I was in Italy, we went out for lunch with some friends who'd driven from, I'm going to get this like in the wrong order, but it was something like they'd driven down from Geneva to have lunch with us in Milan. And then they were driving back down and around to, I want to say like Nice or somewhere like that in France to do a show that night. And it was just like, yeah, that's easy. It's doable. It's drivable. And like to a European, that's insane to hear. Like, why would you do that? That's like a 3-day trip. And it's just like, no, you guys are just lazy and drunk.
Yeah. Up every hour.
Yeah. But no, if you think
lazy and drunk.
We smoke cigarettes. It's amazing.
What you were saying about the copper, yes, they could detect it if they had an artifact in the old world that was not smelted copper. They could hypothetically detect if it was the copper that it came from the United States, not just by the purity, but by like what other elements are mixed in with it and stuff, right?
Yeah.
The only real issue is that metals get recycled, and a lot. Like if you look at the Roman Colosseum, for example, there's all these holes, and it's just pockmarked with holes, and that's from where there were iron rebar that they basically stole to make weapons with. So the copper in the old world is getting smelted, potentially recycled that way, and the copper in the new world wasn't. So like I was saying earlier, the artifacts just kept getting smaller in the new world because you break a knife and now you can make some fish hooks with it, but you can't make another knife. And the old world, they just could make it a sword with more copper. So the odds are a lot slimmer of being able to find something that hasn't been smelted at some point in the old world.
I mean, that was kind of like where that was going to thank you. That was basically going to be my next question. So I was like, we tend to destroy everything that we get and rebuild and just build on top of each other. And we've lost more of our history than we'll ever know back in Europe, like truly. And because like people just conquered people for like no reason, all these like petty little wars. There's a moth. All these petty little wars that we had, even like Wales, where I'm from, more castles per square mile than like anywhere else in the world. And all the rulers of those different castles would fight each other over like the tiny spit of land that they ruled. Then they would pillage all of that stuff and, like you said, destroy it, rebuild it, redo it. So the odds of
did you freeze?
No, I didn't. Someone just posted a funny comment saying like I wanted to dig into the research on it, and it was about archaeology. So I was like, I didn't even realize I did that one.
Doesn't this make for a good, like, even more of a better case, even better of a case for fully excavating sites?
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, to me, probably the best argument for it, because the thing is money is what stops them from fully excavating sites. But the best argument, in my opinion, for like excavating as much as we can is it takes a real honest look at how mining works or construction works or stuff like that. I know a guy who worked in mines in Tennessee. I worked construction for a long time, and we both have the same story to tell you. You want to lose your job? Go show a frickin' arrowhead to the foreman and say, I already called DAGPRA and then told them that the blah, blah, blah. Later, buddy. COHN, just throw that thing in the fucking ground, take it home, get it the fuck out of here. Don't tell anybody about, excuse my French, don't tell anybody about it. It's so like knowing that, it's like, man, when you get a chance to dig, but the biggest one that screws people like us, and Graham's been harping about this one forever because he's dead on with it. They just don't dig further than they expect to find things. It's like, we're going to go back. We expect that they were settled here 15,000 years ago. And it's this goes all the way, not for every site, but like Jacques Cinq-Mars. If you guys know who he is, he was the archaeologist who first, he discovered the Bluefish Caves, and that it was the first site that challenged Clovis first. And this was like 1979 up in Canada. And he's discovered this site in his spare time. Like he would go hiking around in the summer and look for places to excavate on the on season. And so he knew right where to go to check something out. So it kind of takes people that are going above and beyond to make those kinds of discoveries quite often. Because otherwise they're just told to dig 18 inches down and not 28, and they don't find what's sitting right there.
Yeah. And I guess like there's like someone posted a comment on one of our previous videos. I saw it today about like, oh, you guys have got to go out and just like do LiDAR scans and all of that kind of stuff. And it was just like, oh, we would. The money is there, but it's getting the permission to do the scans. Those scans are kind of redundant if we're not allowed to go in and get like all of the other evidence, whether it's like firsthand or like proxy data to actually confirm what we're looking at. Like I completely appreciate the actual practical side of digging up our past is not as simple as just going and digging, but No, this part of me thinks like it can be.
Well, of course,
Like it
could
really
be.
could be if there weren't like all these vested interests in building parking lots
So
and
Dan,
not shopping malls anymore.
I'm sorry, Dan. You've seen the data release from Sage Wall, right?
Yeah.
So when a place like when there's a discovery on private property that isn't going to with someone like Chris running it, then you get stuff released to the public and open sourced, without all these hurdles and stuff. It just seems unnecessary.
It's a frustrating thing. It's like if it's all good people doing it, yes, but the minute that somebody comes in that's got a business mindset in the mix, they really can screw everything up. Like there's a famous story. There's a guy named Gary Kildall. He was competing with Bill Gates in the early days, and they were friends. And the story is that Gary would always share information with Bill. He was really enthusiastic and he loved it. And one day Bill asked him, he's like, "Why do you tell me all of these things? We're competitors. You're telling me your business secrets." He goes, "Oh, this is a huge pie. There's enough pieces for everybody." And Bill says, "In 20 years, there's only going to be one of us." It's very different mindset. And that's one of the first reasons we get these regulations, because some people will just go there. I was just exploring the coast a couple of days ago. We found this site that is almost certainly a native burial site, but it's not marked as such in any meaningful legal sense. And I could have walked right up on that thing and dug for clams, right? And somebody else probably would have, in the hopes of finding some elongated skull or some such shit, right? And that's the problem. Like what you say, Chris is a great guy, and yes, but for every Chris, there's a PT Barnum. So it's like that. I begrudgingly have to accept that we have to have some of these regulations. Although the problem is laws are always based on money and influence. So this is why bankers go. If you steal from a bank, you go to prison for 20 plus years. And if you screw a kid, well, maybe half a dozen. If you're the worst case scenario.
Yeah, right. Unless you're in California,
in which case they just build a statue of you.
Yeah, like you get to run a city or something probably. But there are some interesting references in early French America 1600s where the natives showed the French copper and lead mines presumably already existing. That's pretty cool. Well, you said the copper mining thing. Like I remember writing about the copper mining thing, and my editor at Daily Caller, who I love to death, Jeff, he's never going to watch this because he's Jeff. He's outside drinking a beer somewhere. But he would never really let me write about stuff unless, it was a hill I was willing to die on. Which there were a lot of those, and it came with a lot of swearing and big arguments. And I liked it. It was a fun job. But I think that's sort of established. It's just part of that. Well, again, like the sort of title of the stream today, it's part of that like more hidden history. That was sort of one of my favorite things as well about Ancient Apocalypse. The people who tried to shred that they didn't really realize in calling Graham a racist, were actually being racist themselves by saying like, oh, there's absolutely no way that these highly diverse ancient cultures could have reached any kind of peak technological development. How dare you say that, you racist?
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, if you actually look at it from like just a word usage perspective, you've just said that all of these ancient people and ancient cultures were idiots and only the white man could have done it. So,
math ain't mathing.
Yeah, the math thing.
If you read, there's a Clovis site that was shut down here in Washington, the East Wenatchee Clovis site, and it was found right before NAGPRA. There was a bunch of negotiations. The archaeologists here, locals, were working with the tribes and weren't having much trouble. The property owner wanted to bring in an archaeologist from somewhere else so he could get that tourism stuff set up, as Mike is all too well aware of how that goes. And the tribes shut the shit down. And then NAGPRA came, and now it's shut down like basically permanently. And you read the newspaper articles in the late 80s and early 90s when the debate was going back and forth about this, and you can see where the racism stuff really, like, why they hammer at this. It is projection. This is why they say this stuff. The tribes aren't complaining about the people that are trying to interpret their myths as something meaningful. The tribes are out there saying, if the guy flat out says, we don't need you guys coming and telling us we came through some land bridge. We know where we came from. We came from the caves in the ground, and you don't need to come digging up this shit to tell us that our way of life is wrong. There, it was very clear to the tribal people which one of these ideas is racist. But that, as is typical for these types of white elitists, they're very, very, very good at speaking for people of color. Right? Very good at that.
He's out the truth.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Who was it that was telling us? Was somebody on the Sage Wall trip that was telling us about the Indian dude that didn't like to be called indigenous? He said it was just another example of a white man renaming us.
I love that.
It's like, what, do you mind being called Indian? Yeah, Indian's fine. How about native? Yeah. Oh, I'm clearly a native. How about indigenous? Another example of y'all renaming us. It's like, damn, dude.
I love that. Yeah, I was gonna say all my native friends, they're just like, I've never heard, like, they're all native or Indian. They're just like, and it's interchangeable.
It's like Latinx now.
Oh,
right? It's a good one.
I mean, that's like
I would love
that. That's like hate speech to the Mexicans I know. Now, granted, I don't know a ton of Mexicans, but I do know a handful, and I know more tribal people for some reason. But there's more Hispanics.
Just where you live, I think. I have a lot of Mexican friends here. I'm in Texas. I'm down here. It's Mexican culture is a huge part of Texas culture as well.
Yeah, that's true.
And I haven't met anybody that uses Latinx.
No, it's all just rebranding. It's just rebranding for political and like sort of failed social gain. But I kind of want to go back to, so you just mentioned this, Mike. So Dan, around where you live, a lot of like native Indian cultures. You said you walked up on somewhere which could have been a native burial ground. That just seems like we just washed over that, which is kind of freaking cool.
Okay.
Is that part of the hidden history? I want to get into that stuff.
I'm let me make sure this is my son real quick. I'm just sorry.
Oh no,
he's starting his driver's ed. He's starting his driver's ed class right now. So I'll have to answer a question of his here in a minute. But just tell me real quick what the type of the question was again. Sorry, that's my kid that texted.
No, don't apologize. Like I said, driver's ed. I only got my driver's license a couple of years ago, and my husband still freaks out every time I get behind the wheel. It's great fun. So great driving with him.
Because I had an answer. The answer was we're talking about the trip that I just took.
Yeah.
Okay, I went to the coast of Washington to do some research that a friend of mine, Sean Mooney, has been doing, and he's done all this like all over the place. Some of the stuff is, in my opinion, and he's well aware that some stuff I think he goes too far with it. But there's a lot of things that are really interesting in the area, and I'm working on a pretty big expose kind of video here. But one of the things is there's sites that are named as burial sites that just don't have any legal protections or anybody say anything about them. There's a bridge that used to exist that the geologists claim was a landslide, and but you read native traditions and they speak of the bridge having tunnels in it that they could go under with their boats, and that the bridge had an eternal fire that burnt in the center of it. And you know how I am about ancient high tech, Mike. I'm always like backing way off of that, but it's like when they start getting these kinds of reports, and it's hidden elongated skulls. I mean, it's like one of the weirdest damn stories that I think I've ever covered, because it feels like Dan Brown wrote it. There's just so many like just so many like goofy connecting. Just like, now the Freemasons are here. What the hell? Who called them? But
they're always watching.
Yeah, you're doing the research and one thing after the other. But yeah, the burial ground, yeah, it was like a mound sitting there by the water, and it's like marked the native maps and stuff. It's got the name as they would assign to a burial ground.
That's wild.
I walked. I mean, I walked around the thing, and 200 years ago, I'd probably got speared to it for walking around it. But now I could just go. Again, I could have just dug for clams, right? Oh, I'm just going to get some clams to go fishing with. Oh, look at what I found. But yeah, so I'm contacting the appropriate peoples in the area. I'm just trying to make sure I got all my ducks in a row to make sure that there's no more of those sites, so I don't have to send them 5 emails, because I know that Flint Dibble's probably already emailed him, told him I'm a pseudo guy or some shit. So
you got blacklisted across the entire world for
in a lot of ways, man.
I don't know. I feel like the blacklisting is way less than, the angriest people are always the loudest, except for Jimmy. Because he's angry in the right way and also the loudest, and that's why we love him.
He does like to yell too, yes.
Yeah. It's like every time Jimmy kicks off, I'm just like, oh, this is better than reality TV. And he's always in the right, which makes it even more fun, because you can just like dogpile on that. But I guess, okay, again, sort of like washed over this incredible story of, well, you've got an expose coming out on it, so yeah. I want to wait, and we'll direct everyone obviously to the channel so they can be ready to watch it. But this sort of mountain with the eternal fire and the boats going under it and the bridge and the landslide. Don't even get me started on geologists. Someone's being mean about Jimmy in the chat.
He's always got haters. I've had people say all kinds of terrible things about Jim, and it's he's been one of the best people that when you get to know the guy, he's great. And I know it's real funny. It's a real complicated concept here, but if you go at somebody on the internet and you're like, hey man, I think you might be wrong here, and this is why, they tend to be a lot more responsive than if you go, hey, you cocksucker, you're a fucking idiot. And I think certain people like Jim, like myself, you respond in that latter happen. You're not going to like turn around and enter into polite discourse with me. You came out here with the knife pulled, buddy. I'm pulling out my gun. Sorry, we're done.
I like it. No, I think that's the right way to be. And yeah, like Jimmy, I don't think anyone who actually knows Jimmy Corsetti, this is who we're talking about for anyone listening, watching, who doesn't know who we're talking about. Jimmy Corsetti, right inside. Yeah. Anyone who knows him like truly personally knows what a great guy he is. And yeah, he would knock someone out for you, but he also cares more about these hidden histories, if you will, than most people. Like, I don't know, we're in like such a biased group, so I feel like I'm surrounded by people who care this much, but he's just very good at both of you are at just knocking people's teeth out when they come at us with this crap. So thank you. I love it. I love watching it, and I appreciate it as like a sort of silent viewer. But I guess, okay, my big question though, again, I'm going to pivot again. Of all of this subject matter, let's just focus on, like, say, North America. Of all the subject matter that you've kind of delved into on North America, on these, hidden histories, the things that we're not looking at. And when I say like I mean like the big archaeology sphere. What do you think is the true story? Are you close to trying to figure out like what the true story of our history is, what that could look like? Let's just say going back to like Younger Dryas, so like 12,000 years, give or take.
I don't think that anybody will. I don't think, short of a time machine, we're going to really get a good glimpse. If there was no, if the mainstream sciences was perfectly right, or it's not, clearly they're still learning stuff, but if their mainstream version of things was right, then there's still going to be a big gaping hole in what we know. But if it's like they had ancient high technology of any sort, that stuff would be stripped away almost immediately. I mean, imagine if society collapsed right now, how many firearms do you think would be still scattered around in an average American neighborhood in 50 years? They'd be all consolidated in one or two places. You know, people would be, these would be all these things. A well-made spring would have a lot of value and would get used up and broken and would be gone. And so it gets hard to, and then you get to the point where you get the collectors that step in. And these guys have been around since the Roman ages, and even presumably before, where people have cherished some weird ancient treasure. And so to me personally, we can get some ideas with genetics to see where people went and where plants went, but even that, they end up pinning to these. The margin of error is still so wide that they frequently end up pinning to like written history or other archaeological records and stuff. So, short answer, instead of this rambling one I just gave you, is, hey Sam, the short answer is I don't know, and we probably never will. Unless the Catholics have that thing in the Vatican where you can go like look back in time. That
what's
thing?
Chronovisor?
Yeah.
If they got that, they were just like, we're just one scandal away from finding out.
Yeah, we just go use what's the other one that the Kozarev's mirror? We're just all gonna go sit in there and project.
Oh yeah,
into like different.
Remember when AJ did the video about that? He's like, I'm ordering some aluminum or whatever the hell it was at the end.
I'm gonna message AJ because he told me, I don't know if this is like private, but he told me that he had like 3 or 4 people, like viewers, that were trying to build one. I haven't heard anything back.
Chronovisor?
Yes. The Kozarev's mirror.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because he posted the instructions on how to make it in the description of that video.
Amazing.
I think I would throw up. I don't think I'd be able to handle it. I can't even handle being on a boat. I want to do Kozarev's mirror. Sounds all good to me. But that was a good episode. So Dan, what do you? Oh, you go, Mike. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna. Do you have another question? I was gonna shift topics.
No, do it.
We talked about Easter Island. What's going on there?
Yeah.
Oh, Easter Island is one of my favorite places for a center of an ancient high civilization or ancient civilization that existed before the Ice Age, I should say, for a number of reasons. One of them is where it's located and how popular it is with the people that they had a world naval there, which for the people that aren't aware, that was like an idea of, this is the center of the earth. This is where the umbilical cord of creation basically started, and the earth spread from here. A lot of times it would be like Yggdrasil, where the Norse idea, where it was connect the like heavens, the earth, and the underworld, were connected by this world tree. There's a world naval on Easter Island. Easter Island is a far-flung corner of the Polynesian world. Every other world naval on the planet is in a center of culture. Cusco,
can you name a few others?
Yeah, Cusco, Jerusalem, the Oracle at Delhi. I can't forget the name of the one. There's one in India that's in a temple. It's in India, so of course it's in a population center, unless it's at the bottom of a diamond mine. But you know what I'm saying, though. That's my point is that these places they always show up in these. They always show up in places that were population centers, and this makes sense. It's the center of the world. Of course, people are going to want to live there. They're going to want to establish the ruling culture. If you got 5 tribes that think this is the center of the world, the dominant tribe is going to establish their ass right there. Duh. So, and if you go around saying that you've got a rock that's the center of the world, they might just kick your ass and take your rock and put it next to theirs. Your kids are going to come worship at our center, which is one reason. Honestly, it's one hypothesis that would explain, like, just segue off into nowhere, why Stonehenge has that one stone from way the fuck off somewhere else. That, if they were like competing for center of the world type of ideas, that would be one way to shut that shit down, and it would justify that kind of effort. It's avoiding warfare then, so you can afford to, smash a few limbs as opposed to break a few thousand skulls. So. But yeah, that's one reason I think Easter Island is a potential center. Another one is the mythology that surrounds it. They were said to have been looking for it. When they found it, they sent a small expedition, found it, and then they went and like loaded up a bunch of people and gear and came back. And like they were rediscovering the place. And from what we know of the oldest habitable layer, the oldest layer they've excavated, which is only about 1,200 years old. But when the people showed up there around 1,200 years ago, as far as we know, they immediately had foodstuffs from both South America and Asia. They had ginger, they had the sweet potato, and that right there, that's a huge thing, because for decades now, Thor Heyerdahl posited that the wall that those Ahu sit on, the Moai sit on, the Ahu wall, is he said looked a lot like walls that we see in Cusco in Peru. And he was laughed at, said there's no way that these were in contact, which is kind of ridiculous, because they found that little speck. I'm sure they couldn't find South America.
You're talking about the little centerpiece block?
No, I'd say that if they found the little speck of Easter Island, the idea that they couldn't, that the people that found South America couldn't find Easter Island. Or the people that found Easter Island
wall looks exactly like Peruvian megalithic structures.
Yeah, exactly like it. And Thor was basically called a racist for it. He was blacklisted and all this stuff for it, mocked for it. But now he's been just last year, he's been vindicated. The same thing with human genetics. They find human DNA when they test the skulls that they had of the Easter Island people from before European contact. These skulls had both Polynesian, Asian and South American DNA, and there's actually a genetic signal going kind of a little bit of both directions out from Polynesia into South America and vice versa. So these are all things that, like, pretty much anybody with a brain on could probably understand this stuff. There's people on Easter Island, it's this teeny little speck. Odds are the people that got there were pretty damn good at sailing. They didn't show up with one dude; they showed up with a whole culture. So people capable of building, and they had a culture intact enough to where it was robust. They were building these big stone heads and stuff. So writing those Rarongo scripts and all that stuff. And if you look at when the sea levels were raised or were lowered, from the ice ages, the ice being caught up in the glaciers, there was almost a chain of islands. You could pretty much see one to the next to go all the way from South America to Asia.
Yeah, which is very interesting. There's
all the way up.
There's a video out, and it's the only one that I'm aware of. But if you look for it, you can find it. I have it saved somewhere on YouTube. Most of these types of videos are depictions of what the world would look like if water levels rose. But somebody did a video out there of what it would look like if water levels were lower, and it shows all these connections to areas. You've got Doggerland, you've got the connecting island chain there from Easter Island all the way to South America, basically.
Yep.
You have all sorts of examples like that around the world. Polynesia, Australia, and all that area becomes very interesting. You can see how that would have supported some kind of ancient civilization there if all of that landmass was exposed.
So maybe you guys can answer this for me, because when I was actually doing the research, Mike, for your Easter Island video, I went and just did the layers on, it's probably like Google Earth or something, and I was like, let's get rid of this ocean. I want to see what's going on underneath here. And that island chain is absolutely there.
Yeah.
But I had also gone and watched a bunch of videos talking about like the lost continent of Mu. That doesn't seem to be in the Pacific. That the Pacific is very much those island chains that you guys just described. And also I think there was something as well in my research for that video talking about how there was some ancient form of or ancient method of building. It was either actual like construction, like buildings, like homes, or something else. I can't remember. I'll have to go back and look it up. That they found on Easter Island that was very similar to what you see in ancient Japan and ancient Japanese culture. And if you follow those island chains, like you said, you can literally hop from South America and just bounce until you get all the way up to Japan, which I thought was pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, and we have,
especially when sea level was low. But so with Lemuria, could that be potentially, if I don't know if that's real, could be a conspiracy theory, But again, when I did that analysis, it seemed to me like that was in that sort of Australasia, Oceania, whatever it's called this week, region, more around New Zealand, and then sort of like connected a little bit up. But I don't know if I'm wrong on that, if I'm completely off base. But I get people asking me about Lemur, like Mew all the time, and I'm like, I don't
really know. Yeah, Mew's between Australia and Africa. Is that correct?
Oh, so it's the other side.
Am I right about that, or is that Lemuria?
I believe that's where it was supposed to have been. But
Okay. Cool.
The Mew is one that I haven't researched as much.
Looked into, yeah.
I just when I was researching the origins of it, it just kind of like cropped up from like a guy in the 1880s or so, and it's like right when all the Atlantis hunting stuff was starting to kick off, and he's like, "Hey, I got one of these continents too." I tend to be pretty skeptical, and so it's like, I mean, you know,
it was a little bit Journey to the Center of the Earth when I started digging into it. That was that was my vibe. But those island chains, like you said, going back to the Easter Island stuff, that seems pretty legit. So do you think like that's kind of like realistic? Excuse me, baby. Makes me burp. But but that sort of interconnectedness between South America up through Easter Island into what we now know as Asia. I mean, if we're seeing that in the fossil record of like actual humans there, does like how old, I guess like my question would be then, like, do you remember how old those skulls were?
Those ones were all like 1600s and stuff. It was kind of a fun little side fact. The thing I loved yelling about when they started accusing us of racism, when they did the search for these skulls to get ones that weren't post-colonial. Well, they went to the London Museum and the French Museum and a couple other places, but yeah, they were all in European museums. They'd all been looted and stuff long ago, and this is it's a frustratingly sad. The part of the expose that I'm working on, part of that video that I'm going to work on the next few days about going to where I went to the coast. There was elongated skulls, and one of them has inscription on the base of it. This guy worked with the white people when they showed up. He worked with Lewis and Clark. He was really cool with everybody. Chief, when he died, his skull was looted because it was elongated, and it's got an engraving now on the bottom of it. It's like property of the University of England. There's some crap, 16 something, and now it's been repatriated. It was repatriated in the 60s. The book that I've got for it is actually like really, really, really hard to find. It's like the only other, there's no PDF of it available now. I'm going to fix that when I finish my video, but the only other physical copy that I'm aware of is in a library in Tanzania. So
that's wild.
It's 1960 little Smithsonian Institute pamphlet. Even they've got a list of their little pamphlets. There, I'll grab it. They got a little list of their little pamphlets, and most of them are on that. Most of them are on that list. Here we go. But yeah, it's the Chinook sign of freedom, the famous skull of Chief Concomalee, and that's his skull there.
Wow.
And is it on this page or the other page?
Good Lord.
I know this guy worked with Lewis and Clark and so many other settlers that he cried when they relocated a trading outpost that was right by his village. The few times that there would start to be an uprising against the white people in the area, he would all argue with the younger braves and say, "Hey, man," his argument was always, "Look at they bring no women. They come only their rugged men. Look at how tightly woven their clothes are. Look at how powerful their weapons are. When they bring their women and children, they will kill all of us if we fight them now." And he was real good forethought and stuff. And so, yeah, it is really sad. But yeah, they repatriated the skull finally in 1959. That book came out in 1960. And now, like I say, you can't find a copy of it anywhere. That's one of the things I'm going to be covering a lot is they just like the elongated skull thing is something that it's like a secret right under your damn nose. You'll if you look around, you'll find out that there's a tribe right next door to you that wrap their kids' skulls. It's one of the weirdest things that I've talked a lot of people in the community that live in Washington that aren't aware that right here we had tribes with elongated skulls. It's really weird.
Do we know why they did the wrapping?
Nope. Well, we know that they some of them believed that it made them smarter. Concomly believed that it made him smarter. But like
I need some head wrapping.
I could use a lot. But there's one of the things that says right at the beginning of that book that it's like that makes me think it's like there's no way that this is something that just like that people would just do. It's like the appearance of the infant while in this state of compression is whimsically hideous, and its little black eyes, we are told, being forced out of the tightness of the bandages, resemble those of a mouse choked in a trap.
Wow.
Now, you're doing that to a newborn
that's hardcore.
To elongate their skull, you got to have some sort of a reason.
Is it like, can it be like just as simple as all babies have a little soft spot? I just went and visited one of my close friends' newborns. He's got a little hematoma going on up there. He's such a little sweetie. But can it just be as simple as like, oh, this is what we do to protect them, so we know not to go and like squish that sort of off button kind of vibe?
It would be possible, but they did it in only the noble. The people in the tribe were allowed to do it, like the chief and certain other people.
Yeah.
It wasn't all of them.
So it's like a status thing, maybe.
Yeah, you see that, and you see that a lot.
Yeah.
You don't see the people in Egypt. You don't see all of them with elongated skulls. It's just the few rich people. You see that down in Peru. It's the people that are buried. You don't find poor people grave bundles with elongated skulls.
Isn't that interesting? Another shared feature across cultures and continents.
Almost like a fashion statement.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That's that's just, again, I try to like oversimplify everything, but even though there could be, again, some deep sort of like, oh, we do this to make our children smarter, blah, blah, blah. Maybe it was, status, glorified fashion statement. That was their Chanel handbag back in the day.
Hey, Tim. Tim's a good guy. Well, Timmy Bush, he's a good guy to know. Sorry.
No, that's good. We love to make new friends. Hi, Tim. But yeah, I think sometimes when I look at stuff like that, but then I guess, someone in the chat just mentioned like the foot binding in Asia.
Sophia.
Like that was specifically for women though, so they couldn't run away from the men. So maybe it's not.
It's a joke that I made not too long ago that honestly it's a human rights violation for us to figure out exactly how these elongated skulls work. It's a human rights violation to figure out how this foot binding works. Why don't we just clone one person and test both on them and like cut the human rights violations in half? And it's a clone, so that's where he just sells some rich dude
someone doing that somewhere. Oh my god!
Bound feet, bound head. Bind their hands while you're at it. Tie their hands behind their back.
Oh my
but yeah,
god!
You really have to wonder how these things came to be, and so like I'm less of a alien type person, but the idea of some sort of ancient hominid that we interacted with, or even branch of human that would just like had a bigger cranium because grandpa was weird that way or something. I mean, you guys are aware of the iguanas on Galapagos Islands that swim down and eat crap out of the bottom of the water, right?
Right.
Okay, and so they got all these webbed feet, and that webbed feet gene was a mutant McNugget gene until the water came in. And then all of a sudden it was keen shit at Turd Island gene. But before that, it was you'd go sit in the corner with all the other people with the extra chromosome. But now so it's not.
That's how you got a degree. PhD.
I don't have a problem at all with the idea of humans of some humans having some sort of weird mutation like that or something. And one dude that was smart that way could turn into we bind our kids' heads to make them smarter idea, right? Because it's tough to say for sure. It could be, but it is weird that it's this unique feature that you see all across the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Mike said, it's just like another thing that spans all of these ancient cultures that weren't supposed to know each other and talk to each other. I'm sorry, like the proxy date is just added up now. I don't give a crap what's in the scientific journals and what big archaeology has to say. We know that we all knew each other. We know that we've all communicated across these mass spans of the planet at some point in the past. Like Graham says, like stuff just keeps getting older, but
Yeah.
for me, just stuff just keeps adding up.
Like you take the stuff in Peru, which is commonly attributed to being how old is the stuff in Peru? The megaliths.
The megaliths in Peru, not very old according to what they say. They're like 1,000 years old, 12,000 years old.
1,000 years old, and they're doing this stuff with those megaliths, and we're supposed to believe that it was too hard for them to be sailing across the oceans either way. It's just crazy to me. The same with the ancient Egyptians, the same with any of these cultures who could, I think I've even mentioned this before on the show here is, they could get, design these massive megalithic structures within degrees of air of like nothing, but they couldn't navigate the ocean or build a boat that, I mean, we know that they were building boats that were basically castles and big enough to put, some of these examples of these old boats of that I think the Egyptians used to build in different stuff were just like they're basically like modern day cruise liners. Some of these things that they were building back then. So it's just crazy to me to think that there wasn't communication going on between the continents far before what we're,
It's what's hilarious is like they accuse us all the time of saying that the ancients were stupid or primitive or whatever, and it's like these guys were just like I was saying earlier about the whole God thing. The skepticism of God's existing is not new. It's that reckless and adventuresome spirit that threw Thor Heyerdahl's ass into the ocean on a raft. That was only going to be larger back in the day when there wasn't the knowledge that's a 2,000-mile journey, right? It's like I will just a day or two maybe. So that and there's certain things too, like the bow and arrow that we see all over the place, but we don't see it in Australia. We don't see it in North America until a certain point, and then it shows up. It's like it seems. The bow and arrows is the kind of thing in my mind it probably took two people to invent. It probably was one guy playing around with the physics of getting the tension, and then somebody else come along and make a far more accurate, far more balanced spear, because these two are very, very different skill sets. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think that this is something that was just conjured up over and over and over again around the world any more than I think that the symbols of like the Master of Beasts symbols, which I imagine you both are familiar with, or even the navel holding statues that we see all over the place. There's a certain point where it just, like you say, the proxy evidence becomes overwhelming,
right?
And when the explanation is nothing but you're just seeing things here. It's like, dude, I know that that's how archaeology works, and I know that that's how like a lot even freaking what's the word when you're taxonomy. That's for the longest time was just this looks like that, ergo it is related to that. So it's funny that you would be critical of somebody else doing that, but wrong letters next to the name.
Yeah, you don't have your coca leaves. Is that true? Coca leaves from Peru were found on Egyptian mummies.
I don't think it was leaves. It was there was residue, and it was in the wax. Because at first, my impression was like my first being a skeptical person and being a dirty hippie, my first thought was, well, I mean, if I was an archaeologist in the 70s, I would hey guys, let's do some bumps off of this here mummy.
Yeah.
But
cocaine off these mummies, like
but there was some sort of residue found like inside of this. There's this like shit they did with the hair. They would coat it with all this crap and whatnot, and it was found inside of that, if I remember right. And I remember reading it because I was quite shocked, because I was pretty certain that it was just going to be some surface level thing, because not that I don't believe that the cultures were connected, but to some degree, but you know, mata de coco. Sammy's drawing it up. She's going to prove me wrong.
Didn't they find tobacco?
No, I actually think you were right. Something about the hair.
Oh, damn. Man.
Roughly read it. In 1992, toxicologists Svetlana Balabanova found traces of cocaine, nicotine, and hashish in the hair of several Egyptian mummies, including the priestess Henatoi. The discovery was shocking, as the plants from which these substances are derived, the coca plant for cocaine and the tobacco plant for nicotine, are native to the Americas. But of course, it says that it's was disproven or as debated, like in the scientific community.
Well, yeah, because if they admitted to that, then they would have to admit to
rewrite a lot of books.
To rewrite a lot of books. Most of those textbooks owned by Ghislaine Maxwell's dad. True story.
Is it really? That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is saying that it was contamination due to
so
dirty hippies.
How they were handled.
Okay, so archaeologists that were working on site were handling stuff with cocaine and tobacco all over their hands. Got it. Yeah.
Oh, dude, there's a.
Dude, they were getting down.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, come on, it's the 70s, man. That shit was cheap. You remember the sugar shaker that they threw away on Fear and Loathing?
Oh yeah.
Did you see what God just did to us? I always knew you were a narcotics agent. He says.
Oh god. I mean, you go to North Africa these days, and you can't really move for certainly the hashish side of things. Does that make sense? Yeah. Oh my gosh. But anyway, I kind of want to Dan, like, I know you've got another video that you're working on right now. I'd love to just chat about that a little bit. We always go over, but thanks for hanging out with us for this like entire time. So yeah, tell us what you've got coming up. Tell us a couple of other things. Like, obviously we have all the links in the description. I think everyone knows who you are, dude. But everyone's already following you. But if you're not, go follow Dan. DeDunking. Woo. But yeah, tell us about this upcoming video and what else you're working on right now. Give us some spoilers.
Give us the scoop.
The next video that I've got is discussing the overkill hypothesis. We talked about that a little bit earlier. I'm working on a video on that that I was already working on, as the research for this has been. It's a lot of it. I'm still even reading it. The road trip that I took. That video is going to take a little bit more time to put together. But this one, I'm working on this. It's really addressing more, not just the hypothesis, because even most archaeologists don't really accept the overkill hypothesis anymore. But they do. It is used a lot. It's different fields of academia break it out for different reasons, and it's really cute because it was basically created out of bullshit and it's used for bullshit. And so that's I'm not just going to discuss how it's not really the proper model. I'm also going to discuss how it's basically one more example of unscientificness. Like another thing we touch base on real quick, the mesas here in Washington in the channeled scablands. If you guys know the channeled scablands from the floods, right? The mesas there, I was looking into the archaeology on them because to me it seemed like a good place to go to look and see what was going on before the flood. Some of them have topsoil on them still, and they're pretty hard to access. But the archaeology that's been done on them in the 70s, they went and gathered a bunch of artifacts from them and like bones and stuff. And then some dude in the mid 2010s was doing a PhD project on one of them. And it was like the recorded amount of bones or artifacts was like 200, but he had like 600. and they were all stored in cigarette packages. And he attributed the additional artifacts to breakage because nobody had bothered to write down what any of it was. And this was done in the 70s. So, it's like, I'm not saying that all archaeologists are terrible, but I'm saying that this is the kind of bullshit. They say that guys like me aren't a scientist. Like, man, if I did that shit as an electrician, outlets don't work, I get called back. You guys get away with that and fucking retire. And it's just sitting there on the shelf.
Yeah.
This is not science. This is just circle jerking bullshit.
I think that's why people get so angry, because it's just like, it feels like there's no accountability. They're only accountable to themselves, is what it feels like.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. If two of them, if they all believed in Harry Potter, they would all be publishing papers on Harry Potter. There would be a damn thing we could do about it.
Yeah.
They'd be calling it science.
For it.
We'd be doing the same thing we are now, yelling at them and calling them stupid. Right? Why?
But at least we'd be, well, whatever. But yeah, I can't think of a single job I've ever had where if I just completely royally fuck it up or do something bad, there's just no consequences.
Weatherman, that's about it.
Where you get kind of shipped around or moved to a different site and to a different site, like you're a Catholic priest.
That's exactly what I was thinking. You just screw things up bad enough, and they move you around.
Yeah, they just keep shuffling you until you make it all the way to the top. No,
but one thing I want to mention about that video that I've got coming about the Washington State elongated skulls and stuff. This one really did challenge me at a lot of it is still like a lot of my predetermined, like a lot of things that I just believe, generally speaking, like my starting point. I've had to walk outside of it in a couple of spots because the consistency of some of these things and the goofiness of some of it. It's like a dude I'm reading and I'm like, man, this terrible catastrophe happens and it sounds like a cover up to steal a bunch of native artifacts to me. And I start researching the dude, and it's like dad was skull and bones people and shit. It's just like, man, everywhere you turn on this, it's like it's like they like all these weird secret society goofy bullshit like all converged in this one area for some reason. And even the town was like I was walking through the town, the dude was showing me and stuff where there's like Masonic symbolism like right in the fucking center of the town. They don't even care. It's just like part and parcel of the whole thing. How you doing?
Yeah. That's it's kind of chilling, really, because like you kind of go back and like I don't know, I still go to like the big conspiracy mind of it, because if we knew the truth of our past and our history, it would pretty much undermine all of the power structures that exist today, from politics through, you name it. Because we would realize, and might stop me because I know I've said this like probably a few times on the show before, but I think we would all realize the futility of it, and we would go right back to tribal village living. We wouldn't really, I mean, most of us I think are pretty anti-globalization from like a new world order perspective anyway, because we know how stupid and unsustainable that is in every single sense of the words.
I just like to be able to talk shit without fear of going to jail myself. But
well, this is why I don't go back to Britain ever. Yes. My husband is like, we can't go back there. Look at what your Twitter looks like.
He'd get off of it and throw you in a gulag.
I think I saw a report the other day, and it was showing dictatorships around the world only getting up into the hundreds of arrests for online comments, and England and the UK being in the over 12,000 arrests in 1 year.
I think that's honestly because of how counterintuitive it is to the culture. If you live in former Soviet Russia, you know better than to go talking shit about Putin on the internet. You're not stupid. But if you live in the UK, you're like, what do you mean I can't say that my dog's a Nazi? Oh, next thing you know, you're in fucking jail over. It's like, oh, you gotta be kidding me, man.
Yeah,
that was still
that's true.
It was one of the that was damn near 20 years ago now.
I tried to type idiot on Instagram just a few weeks ago while I was over in the UK, and I couldn't do it. It wouldn't let me.
Yeah, this is where you have to get tricky. That's too bad. They want, like here in the States, they just tell you, "Are you sure you want to type this? Are you really sure? Are you really? This is the kind of thing that got Kanye banned. Is this what you want to say?" But, but over there, they just don't let you do it. It's like a butter knife. You can't have it.
Well, that's what happens when like you only have politicians and members of the monarchy who are parts of these like creepy, culty, like secret societies. It's just so it's just so like I don't know. It just sounds like some weird gay orgy of like weird, ugly people who all sound like George Bush. That's just what I picture when like anyone brings up like Skull and Bones, Freemasons, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like,
party.
you know, I got like family members and stuff like that who were like Freemasons and all those sorts of things, and they all said it was silly. I had a neighbor back in the UK. He was like, "Yeah, I joined the Freemasons, see what's going on." It was just really daft. Like it was just it was kind of sad. But when you get like really deep into it, I mean, you know, like ancient Egyptians in the Grand Canyon type into it. We'll save that for another episode.
Well, you look on the back of a dollar bill. I mean, it's got your little your Freemasonry crap. You go, it's the Washington Monument's a fucking obelisk and stuff. I mean, when we talk about it's like to me, in my mind, it's not a coincidence that when we talk about like the ancients mysteries and all the way back, we're like wondering how they moved the big blocks, which would be Masons. They would have you using squares and plumb bobs and the symbols that you see on there. To me, I don't think that. I do think that there is, if there is any thread that connects that touches ancient knowledge, it's probably going to be in these secret societies where they've. I mean, we saw it about 100 years ago. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but like your Lions Club and all that shit was like 150 years ago. There was like a big, these are all satanic. All of these Freemason organizations are satanic. So they were just like, oh, rebrand. We're the Lions Club. We're now the Shriners. We're a charitable organization. But it's the same fucking guys in the same fucking club. Yeah. They just put on a new skin.
Yeah. And they all want to call, I don't know. Again, I think I go down the line of like, I know the way that we live right now from like a very practical sense is very unsustainable without making like serious changes. Like we're literally going to run out of oil before we can ever be dependent on any kind of renewable energy, which I think is actually kind of funny. That's just me. I love that kind of dark humor. I'm just like, we're fucked. Yay, funny. But yeah, I think like hiding these huge pieces of our past stops us from being able to dig into how we could have reached other types of sort of key development, which is going to stop the autonomy of the individual, which allows us to stay on our current trajectory, which essentially leads to power being very centralized in these small groups. Because, you know, we all know about the Freemasons, we all know about these groups, but it's actually quite a small percentage of the population who are actually members of them. And then once they get all the power, then you're just sort of left with that sort of like subservient class that creates the stuff that they like. And that's it. And that's what society looks at. I think it's stupid. I don't think we're actually going to get to that point. I think they're massively overplaying their hand. And, you know, we've seen so many cataclysms in the past, like it's just a matter of time, really. But anyway,
it looks to touch on what you're saying there. The research that I've done thus far, it looks like there's a planned town that a lot of this is revolving around, like a planned city in Washington, and it looks like this dude, like the founder of the town, he was really like, it looks like he was, like I said, there's Freemason stuff right in the middle of town, symbolism and stuff is real prevalent, but it also looks like people have like violated this stuff, and whether it's out of just not knowing any better, or whether it's a direct attempt, but like his statue was moved and faced a different direction and stuff, and it was like clearly part of facing the sun and the rising sun and all this shit. And they changed that. They broke part of what one person would, some people would call the seal or whatever, I guess you'd say, like the Freemason. I don't believe that the Freemason, all that I'm not a believer in like magic and shit. So when the people like, but you don't have to believe that adrenochrome works to believe that there's some weird people that believe adrenochrome works and they're still going to do some fucked up shit. So it's like, but anyway, this town looks like there was like maybe like he had an idea and it was like you say, it was broken or just like it's not getting. They overplayed their hand.
Yeah. That's
Anyway.
That was such a good way of putting it. Like, you don't have to believe that adrenochrome works to not believe that there's some crazy disgusting people who would be so into that. Okay, we're not allowed to go off on a tangent like this because this is going to keep us on here for hours, seriously.
I'll tell you, the best meme I've ever seen in my life was a picture of Jazane and freaking Jeff, and it says true love is when you finish each other's sentences.
Oh, that's so good.
It made me laugh so hard. Yeah, so dark.
Good.
I know everyone keeps saying that like civil war is going to break out. If they really want it, just let her out of prison.
I saw this comedian that made a great joke too along the same lines. This is terrible and dark, so go ahead and tell me you hate me when I'm done with it. But it says it's microplastics are in everything. They're in our biology now. They're in human semen. Doesn't matter if you're rich or you're poor, same amount. And it's in billionaire semen, and that's just terrible. Kids eat that shit.
Oh my god, dude!
Oh my gosh!
That's like, god damn it, dude!
Like, get recommendations for like. Have you guys seen that guy Scooper of Coop on YouTube?
Yes.
No.
Like everyone's gonna start getting like recommendations for his Pizzagate series next, and we're all like, none of us are suicidal. Like I like to say, whenever anyone brings up the Clintons, none of us are suicidal.
Oh my gosh, Dan, you wanna get into super chats with us?
Sure, yeah. Let's roll.
So just want to remind everybody, we're gonna jump into super chats real quick, and we are giving away tickets to the conference Dan is speaking at in December at Scottsdale, Quest for Ancient Civilizations. We're going to be giving away 2 tickets tonight. Sammy, you can tell us who you picked when we finish answering all the super chats. Jose Taco. He's been all over the chat tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I think that's a second super chat too.
Guillermo
she's going through them. Okay, yeah.
Hopped in here for a chance at a ticket.
Sophie. Thanks for joining us.
Sophie's my homie. That's my homie.
Oh, yeah. Vote for Pedro. Invite the conference because what's a conference my dad? That sounds like a nice way to spend a day.
Dan, you're a beer drinker though, right?
I usually am. Dan for president. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing, Ian? Battle of the Beards. Here we go.
I think you got. Well, what's the judging parameters here on the beards? That's what we need to know because.
Ian is, by the way, he's a Washington local who wasn't aware that we have elongated skulls in right here in our backyard.
Oh yeah,
I had no idea either. I mean, that's wild.
It's some one of the things I'm going to be unraveling is just how ridiculously common it is and how they hide it. It's just like everywhere, but you don't see it.
That's wild.
First time watcher.
Oh, nice. Imaginary Football Podcast.
That is a cool name. I love that.
Thank you.
Great work, all of you. Is anyone covering Baalbek at the conference in Arizona? We can ask them to, I'm sure.
So we are getting the topics up on the website. In fact, most of them are up right now. I think I'm one of the few that hasn't submitted my
I think you're one of 4, maybe.
Mike, you haven't submitted your topics? You haven't done your homework? No fucking way. I'm just kidding.
All right, I deserve that. But I got the.
Yes, Mike is going to be talking about Baalbek now. That's his topic.
Just send it to the website.
There's your assignment. Thank you, Keith Sobel. You just made our job so much easier.
Yeah.
I brought this up earlier.
Rube, what's up?
Rube.
Hey, Rube. Yes, the archaeologists do that. Hey, Shaman.
Sedona
Connections in the chat again, just hooking it up every week.
I'm just going through these.
Jeff, thank you for joining.
Legend. Please let's get links to channels discussing. Yes. Oh yeah. Anything to do with the copper mining stuff. I need to find my. I'm gonna make a note to find my article on that too.
North O2 is the channel that has been. He's the one that I've seen the most.
Who else?
I can't think of anybody else who's covered it recently.
No, who'd you just mention?
Oh,
I'm sorry.
North O2. Sorry,
North O2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Him and Jimmy don't get along, but me and North get along. So, full disclosure there. He is a mainstream guy. You're not going to go over there and get any Atlanta stuff. He's gonna debunk the idea that they brought the copper from one place to the other. But
still,
if you want to learn about the copper culture there, he breaks it down really well.
Very
and a lot of boots on the ground stuff there too.
Nice.
Keith, thank you.
Keith, thanks for being our friend.
And Krigler showed up. I'm going to be on Adam's show tomorrow night. So if you guys are watching now and you want to go over, tune in to Adam's show, Adam Krigler. I'll be joining them tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Nice.
I'm also making a note.
Hanging out and shooting
a link to that show.
And then we're going to Egypt in a month. So Adam will be with us in Egypt.
Got to announce the t-shirts for Egypt too.
Oh yeah, we have t-shirts available.
Let me pull
Tiki Jack, what's up? Thank you.
Thank you, Tiki Jack. Appreciate it.
So nice. All these wonderful people. Look at this beautiful community. This is so lovely.
I know. We've been so happy with the turnout since we started all this. It's been really amazing. And I don't know how to thank everybody for your support. This is great. We're 3 episodes in and having a blast.
Easy. I can't believe it's only been 3. It feels like it's like already part of like my bloodstream. I love that sweatshirt. Sammy, did you design these?
I did. Well, so the photography is from Mike from his travels.
Love it.
And then
isn't that cool?
I did a illustration based off of one of his travels.
So we're going to do some more too from other places I've been around the world. Easter Island. What else did we decide? Cambodia, Angkor Wat.
Yeah, they're at the bottom of the videos. So thinking, to have the shirts for the location at the bottom of that video that you're watching.
I love it.
Dan, do you have anything else you want to plug?
Yeah, what are we plugging for you, Dan?
Oh, I don't have merch yet. I need a Sammy is what I need.
I'm here, Dan.
My Sammy.
Sammy. I don't know what I would do without our Sammy. So highly recommend.
Yeah, Sammy, you can clones. You can't have our Sammy, but we'll clone a Sammy.
Binder feet and head.
Bind her head. No.
It'd be like a super Sammy.
Super silent Sammy.
I'm kind of curious. I go back and forth on if I'm okay with being cloned. I don't know.
We'll
have to be depending on the day.
Yeah, it's all fun and games until you bump into him on the street.
Exactly. I don't know about that. Or like whoever clones me, what they would do with that clone of me. That's the freaky part. Anyway, I'm gonna close my eyes and just pick a person. So
okay.
Hopefully I click the right part of the screen.
So it all goes blank.
Did I get one?
We can't do a giveaway to Sedona.
Okay, sorry.
He already has tickets.
You already have tickets.
That's so good.
Oh my God. We're gonna hook you up for the next one. I'm gonna make a note. We'll get you for the next one.
Hey, Jose Taco with the win.
Taco.
You got yourself a ticket to Quest for Ancient Civilizations in Scottsdale, Arizona. What we're going to want to do is DM me. Probably the best place is going to be on X, and we can connect that way. And what I'm going to need is like your address and different stuff. We're going to ship you out a ticket to the conference.
Credit card number.
Congratulations. If you don't have X, You can get in touch with Mike via his website. Or if you want to make sure that he gets his homework done, you can get in touch with me via my website, and I'll make sure that Mike gets his homework done.
You can just comment on one of my videos. I'll send you Mike's phone number. You're fine.
Yeah. I
got you.
You know, I would fight back on some of this, but y'all aren't wrong.
Yeah.
Jose A. Taco, congratulations. Thank you so much. You rock. We're going to get you that.
If anybody, if anyone wants to throw in their chance, now's your chance.
Going.
$5, $10.
All right, one more ticket to give away.
Second one.
But we'll be excited to see you in Scottsdale. Well, I won't be there because I'll be even more pregnant and fatter than I am now, almost ready to pop. But I'll be at the next ones. Little baby in tow. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Jeff up north became Jeff. I just want
to
meet you and hang out with you.
Yeah, Jeff just became a member. Yeah. That counts, right?
That counts.
Yeah. He joined the membership club.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Jeff, amazing. And then we're gonna have Jeff on eventually here. We're gonna get through the rest of this year with our guests, but I'd like to have him and Ricardo on to talk about the copper mines and stuff, and then up there in the UP and everything. Jeff, you've got my number, so we'll be in touch.
You're so excited.
You can WhatsApp me.
We just got a last minute.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, that's a random.
Wow, thank you.
Number. Thank you.
Yeah, we're just going to call that person 867-5309. I'm sorry. trying to remember another string of digits.
I'm gonna wake up from like a deep dream about that song tonight.
Thanks,
good show, guys.
I appreciate the invite, Mike. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, dude, it's always good to hang out with you. You know, we've met up in Austin, we've met up at Sage Wall, we met up in Sedona. I feel like you're actually my friend now.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's enough times to call you my friend.
I completely agree with you on that, man. We had a lot of fun, especially up at in Montana. We got a lot of time to hike damaged freaking programmers out of the woods and run around in the Sage Wall and all kinds of fun stuff.
That is so good.
So cool.
So we're going to get into some stuff in Sedona as well. So if you want to, we can talk offline later, but if you want to go do any exploring while you're up there.
In Scottsdale,
yeah. So but I hope everybody is able to make that and come hang out with us, because I know I'd love to meet you. I know, speaking for Dan here, I'm sure he'd love to meet you as well. And
if you're cool.
Yeah.
Don't try to talk to me if you're not cool, man.
That's so good. Well, thank you, man. Thank you for coming on. It was really awesome.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Kay, and thanks, Sammy.
Thank you, Dan.
So lovely to see you, Dan. Thank you so much. This was freaking awesome. I can't believe this is our job, guys. This is fucking wicked.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Yep.
Oh, and Lamar Harmon in with the last minute with those $5. What a freaking great episode. Someone just said that they had a visa interview for 20. I think someone just said that. Yeah, interview for a visa in 2027. You'll be fine. You'll walk straight through it. It'll go by quickly. I'm a visa girl. I got here on my first visa like 10 years ago. You'll be fine. It's gonna go amazing.
From Peru.
Congratulations, Sophie. That's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Dude, that was a fun show. That was a really fun show.
That's fun. Dan's always a blast. I love him.
What an angel human being.
I know. I love him because he's a sweetheart, and he also just knocks the shit out of people online, which is wonderful to watch. I love it. I love how he punches back, and just a stand-up dude. That was a good episode. We're really getting into it. I guess we're gonna make this a thing. Should we just do this every week?
Yeah, I guess we're just gonna have to hang out. And everyone in the chats, just gotta say, like, thank you so much for joining. It means the world. that you'll come and hang out with us this whole time. Who do we have? Do we have next week sorted? Or do we have anything to tease?
Yeah, we've got
more of the
next
same
week. Nerdrotic himself, Gary Beekler.
Oh,
which I just learned
yeah.
the other day how to pronounce his last name. I've been saying Buechler this whole time, but it's Beekler, which is very German, I think. I could be wrong on that, but that's how it's pronounced. So he'll be on with us. Gary from Nerdrotic is joining us next week. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I know everybody's really excited about that. I really love that applause button. It's me pressing that. It's not Sammy.
Not Sammy. I love it. We've got a laugh
like 1 out of every 10 times.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody so much. We hit a 2-hour mark again.
We did.
That's off to Dan for sitting with us for that long.
Wow. This is so well. It feels like, we're just at the pub hanging out, chatting amongst friends. That's it's the beauty of it. When we are all actually friends hanging out, which is even more fun. Also, really glad that I'm not the only person whose name you mispronounced. Everyone mispronounces my name. I go on national television and they're just like Kate Smith, and I'm just like, not even fucking close, mate. But thank you. I'm just messing.
Right?
Smythe, yeah. I want it to be Hill, but it's like changing your name as an immigrant going through a visa change.
Yeah.
Not worth it. Not worth that paperwork, bro. Not yet. Love my husband so much, but I can't be dealing with that paperwork just yet.
Well, all right. I'm looking forward to next week. It's going to be a good one. Hope to see everybody there. Great hanging out with you guys. Thank you, Sammy.
See you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.